My name is Juliet Vaughn, and I walked into my sister's wedding alone, by choice. I didn't want a man beside me to validate my worth or buffer the judgments. I wanted to walk in as I am, a woman over 30, unmarried, successful, and unapologetic. As soon as I entered the glamorous ballroom, all eyes turned. Not with admiration, no. It was the kind of gaze reserved for people who didn't quite fit the fairy tale script. Whispers floated through the air, especially from my sister's new in-laws. I could feel their eyes scanning my left hand, noting the absence of a ring, a partner, a traditional life. One woman even murmured loud enough, "Poor thing. Still can't find anyone to bring." Vanessa, my sister, didn't even acknowledge me. She was all teeth and diamonds, posing beside the groom, basking in her third fairy tale wedding. I stood at the edge of the room like a footnote in a family memoir that had never really included me. I was about to fade into the background, exactly where they wanted me, until he stood. Edward Sinclair, Logan's uncle, a man whose name echoed in business magazines, whose influence turned boardrooms silent. He stood at the center table, eyes locked on mine. Then, in front of everyone, he bowed. Not a nod. A full, formal, deliberate bow. The room froze. That single moment shattered every judgment, every whisper. Because when a man of power acknowledges a woman they've dismissed, everything changes. Growing up, I was never the chosen daughter. Vanessa was the golden girl. Pretty, charming, easy to brag about. I was the girl who rebuilt the microwave at 10 and coded a full operating system at 14. My passions weren't shiny. They weren't photogenic. They were quietly powerful and invisible to my family. Vanessa was praised for being loved. I was tolerated for being smart. I didn't attend the wedding for them. I came for myself. To walk into a place that never welcomed me and stand tall anyway. And somehow, I was finally seen. At the reception, they seated me in the back. Like always. Surrounded by distant cousins who couldn't hide their pity. "I figured you'd have someone by now," one said. "A woman like you." It was meant to flatter, but the sting behind the words was sharp. But Edward Sinclair changed that narrative again. He approached me, and not just to talk, he honored me. He referenced my keynote in Zurich, how it impacted his company's tech direction. Information that wasn't even public. He knew who I was, what I built, what I stood for. Not because I shouted it, but because I did the work. While Vanessa curated Instagram perfect love stories, I built startups from scratch, led global initiatives, and redefined data systems. I'd failed and rebuilt more times than I could count. Alone. And now I was finally being acknowledged, not for being someone's sister, but for being Juliet Vaughn. Inside the ballroom, the mood shifted. Gloria, the mother-in-law, glared.
Vanessa?
Furious. "What was that about?" she hissed at me. "That," I said calmly, "was someone recognizing what you never did." Then came the final toast. Logan's father made a snide remark about me preferring the boardroom to the ballroom. Edward stood, once more. "It takes no talent to inherit wealth. Even less to marry it," he said. "But Juliet Vaughn has done neither. She's created value. She's earned her place in rooms none of you will ever enter. If we raise glasses tonight, let it be to her." The silence was loud. This time I didn't smile. I didn't need to. Because something far greater happened that night. I was understood. Truly understood. And that was worth more than applause. Later, my mother approached. Nervous. Awkward.
"We're proud of you," she said.
I looked her in the eyes.
"Why now?"
Because someone powerful said I mattered. She had no answer. I walked away from that wedding with my head high, not because of Edward, but because I'd finally stopped waiting for their validation. I wasn't just the other sister. I was the architect of my own life. And that night, I learned the most powerful applause is the one you no longer need.